Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Overwatch Atlantic Showdown. $100,000 up for grabs. Who will get there? Mitch is joining me for this one, or more to the point, I'm joining Mitch for this one, actually. Should talk about that. Wow, my mouse has just gone crazy on the players. So, it's the match we were expecting, round of 16. Yep. OWKings up against Too Strong. We kind of looked at the seeding right from the beginning and said, they're going to meet in the round of 16. What do we think?
Pretty cut and dry at this point. Honestly, it's tough on a call. I think Overwatch Kings will edge this out. Very close, though. I mean, it's only a best of 3, which is the sad part. You know, we don't actually get to see more from these guys, unfortunately. It goes best of 5 once we get to the quarters. So that's it. Comes down to this. And like we said, I guess the seeding for Too Strong, they lost it because they registered late, I think.
Yes.
So that's why they play against this one. Ideally, they get in early, they register on time, and they make it through quite comfortably, actually. It's probably the way it should happen looking at the rest of the bracket. Yeah. But it is how it is, and the first map will be Numbani.
But I mean, obviously, we've been talking about how it kind of sucks for Too Strong. It kind of sucks for OWKings. They've been to the round of 8 twice already.
Yes.
They're going to be thinking, are you kidding? We meet Too Strong at round of 16. Are you kidding? Seriously? But one of these teams is going to get to the round of 8. We'll find out who it's going to be. Let's get into Numbani, because that will be the first map, and it's a tricky one. And I'm really intrigued to see who is actually going to cap out the payload first, whether they're actually going to finish the map.
Yeah, so obviously we've seen some changes with Overwatch Kings recently. Oxy moves to coach was the main thing. I think it was Clown that came in as his replacement there as well. I believe so. So likely as well, you probably should have seen him around a bit. He's been playing for a long time. And, well, as far as long is in Overwatch, he's definitely featuring the beta. He and Nevix were probably considered 2 of the best Mercies for quite a while. And obviously Nevix is now like in top rank in EU.
I think it's the highest ridiculous in the world, yeah.
Yeah, don't make your judgments too early about Mercy mains, because I tell you what, Nevix is pretty sharp. But likely as well, in the same vein, I think he's quite a very strong player. We'll have to see what he can really do on this Mercy as well. He's going to be an endangered species, though, Lee. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, obviously they're going to be gunning for him. Mineral also might be pretty endangered. He's on Torbjorn, starting out. Of course, going to be setting up that turret. Is going to be in the corner. Looks like he's already placed it. No, he hasn't. Okay, he's going to stick it in the corner. Standard position. Can't really get flanked, as we've talked about this many, many times. Ruster, of course, on the Winston Zafe, is back from work, so he is playing now, and he's going to be on the Mercy, of course. Icefelt on the Soldier 76. Saini will be on the Farah, and Maniton. We saw him do some great stuff earlier on against free agents on this map. Worked very well. Got that ulti, first one out the door, but is up against a much harder team here.
And he didn't play in the last game either, of course. We still saw MKL, who did his job, I have to say, on Winston especially. On those maps. So he's back now. I like to call this the skipjack spot where he's sat here, but teams are pretty much ready for it now. They expect to see a Roadhog up here, and Rib gets a nice little hook to start things off. Maniton responds. Never hook first, they say, but still, Rib's still going to get away with that one now as well. And without Maniton and Ruster, this is going to be very, very hard for Too Strong to hold.
Zave is going to try and keep Saini alive. He's going to be so vital in this one, but he's left hanging in the breeze by Saini, who backed away. And that point may well be falling early on. We talked about whether anyone's going to cap it. It looks like he might well do, Mitch.
Yeah, the reason why you sit a Roadhog up here as well is to catch Pharahs and Genjis who fly in. There was none of that, actually, from Overwatch Kings. Notice that it's a Pharah-less lineup. Always playing a McCree here. It's not even concerned about controlling the skies. They all went together with most of the team up towards that upper ledge, and they completely overwhelmed Too Strong, who only had Ruster and Maniton there. Now, that's fine, but Maniton got hooked first and was already half health before he actually had a chance to respond.
So, any changes coming through? Mineral, of course, switching off from that Torbjorn over to the Lucio. Everybody else as is. Icefeld's going to try and get the tactical visor flank on here. He's looking for the Mercy, of course, and he's going to find himself one onto Clown. Now, where is the Mercy? He's running away, trying to keep it busy. Oh. Wow, swings around, gets Adatonian, but they couldn't find the Mercy, and there's the rest.
Yeah, that's right. So Icefeld now has to back up a little bit here. Twitty's looking for him as well, straight through the back line, but of course now probably should get out. Can't really, because there's a Primal Rage Winston swinging in his face. So Maniton gets himself 2 kills there as well, and Too Strong look to make up for lost time by defending quite close, actually, to Overwatch Kings' spawn. They literally spawned from that room in there as well. So these guys are wanting to lock them away and definitely, I guess, fix the issues that they had by letting them in so early.
Yeah, you saw Likely just peeking around the side there. Icefeld's got his eyes tracked on it just in case it comes around the side. So plenty of time. Didn't actually start my stopwatch. I'm going to be regretting that one, but 5 minutes still to go on the clock. Plenty of time for OWKings to push out of this one, and they certainly will as they manage to lock them down, and High Noon will follow.
Yeah, easy enough there for Olber to pick up the kills. It was just the one, but the Earth Shadow had facilitated for him to find targets fairly easily. And they push out. Obviously, there's multiple avenues of pushing out. You can't just be locked in that room. You can go around. So Adatonian now going to try and set up. Obviously not for a Death Blossom, but hopefully just to get a little bit more damage done. Get in and assassinate, ideally, Zave, or someone who's not really aware. But I expect to see that position challenge. It's unlikely that Too Strong are going to spawn in and leave the balcony alone.
Icefelt making the change, switching from the Soldier over to the Reaper.
He's been heard.
Just caught a glimpse of, I think it's Adatonians around the corner. It is, yes. Adatonian sat there, who made himself the adjustment. There you go, hook straight in, easy kill.
Yeah, a bit of a steal from Adatonian, but still gets the job done. Ruster's going to fall as well. We know what happens when Reaper plus tanks equals massacre there. Adatonian's getting himself some easy enough kills here, and this is excellent stuff from OWKings. A very small stumble earlier on, but now they're off and flying.
Yeah, I mean, this was the danger of them pushing so aggressively on the spawn. It will, you know, if you get wiped out, it backfires, and they've pushed through one of the choke points already. They're moving into the second hardest choke point, I would say, just around this corner. This little dog leg coming up. Now, Saini has Barrage almost available. We'll have it up just as we get into this point. Now, he's looking for Likely, but you can already see Likely. It's gone deep under the tunnel. He's going to use the Barrage around the side. They do not get Likely down, so he'll just pop around the corner. No! Wow! Took himself a fire strike, earth strike straight to the face there from Ruster, and he was about to get the big res off, but he got took down. Adatonian. Where was...
He was hiding in the bush there. So
he's behind them completely.
Not the best target to pick, though, as well. It's quite easy to boop you away, and Adatonian won't get far enough away from Too Strong to actually
delayed them.
Survive.
Because now he's not with the team. Yeah. Now they're a 5v6. That's...
The thing is, it's like, am I going to be spotted here? Do I need to spring now? I guess his nerves sort of just broke and he had to go for it. But you're right. They're going to have to wait a while before Adatonian's going to be there to join them. To be fair, this phase right now is more of a poke down phase, but look at the ults. It's 6 ults here for OWKings. Adatonian didn't waste his frivolously now as well. So they should stagger this into 2 or 3 fights and just use it to push Too Strong back now. Here comes one. The Deadeye being used here by Olber. There's not really a lot to shoot for here, and I think, yes, the Reaper will get around the corner before we can use it.
Yeah, couldn't do anything. Cancels it out, gets the 50% back, but it did, more importantly, move the payload. They get themselves the flashbang when nothing followed through there, actually. And they are still sitting on a bunch of ultis. Uh-oh, that's going to be Zave picked off around the side there. That's a tragedy. That may well cost them. Icefelt, though, comes in with Ruster, get themselves the double kill. Likely gets taken down, and the payload will halt once again.
So it's all well and good for Adatonian to jump on towards Zave, but the rest of his team couldn't hold up against Too Strong. So you kill Mercy, and that was maybe only Mercy and Lucio dying in that fight here. So target selection for Too Strong wasn't ideal. And obviously, we actually saw Maniton go for a Deadeye as well earlier on in that fight. It was just short of shielded out and didn't get too much away from her. But it was zoning. That's all you needed it for. And again, to buy some time. It's unlikely we're going to see OWKings push into this. There's no way to break the shield, so just give it a go and see what you can get.
Yeah, instead, doesn't get nothing from it, but tries to work that shield down. You never know. Sometimes you might get lucky. Olber has his own one up, though. And he may well do the same thing. It pushes them back around the corner. You can see they need to deal with Saini, though. Saini has that barrage available. You can see they're trying to get that one clicks on him, trying to see how it works. It's not exactly Scream here, but Olber's trying to do what he can there. Death Blossom did next to nothing there from Adatonian. That was wasteful, but he just gets a res through. Zave's still holding on to that res around the side, but Zave's been caught out. He's been pinned down and picked off. Got the res in just in time.
Yeah, he managed to get it away, so he's more than happy with that one. That's kind of the way it is for Mercy players. Go in, res, and die. You expect that at this point. But OWKings have used a lot of those ultimates that they had earlier on. I wouldn't say squandered, but they've used them a little bit awkwardly, and they actually could have gotten across the line maybe a little bit quicker. But now they've got Pharah one side, Reaper on the other, trying to slow things up here. We're going to see Icefelt push straight out. He dies immediately as Rib as well. He's just going to try and catch the defenders trying to rush back on.
The Earth Shatter came down from Ruster, but it doesn't really get a great deal. He managed to swat one away. They can't keep them off the payload. You can see the Divas trying to do work, trying to squat them away. Maniton's going to come in with a Tracer as well. They're just going to keep it contested. You can see it's only a minute 50 away. Zave will get picked off by Rib there. He's trying desperately to clean them, but there's the res coming in from Likely. That should be enough to clear them off the point.
That's very important res there as well. Well timed, and it was good by Likely to stay alive. You saw Zave wasn't able to do the same himself. He actually could res if he comes in now, and it gets just a touch of healing on that point, but he won't have the opportunity. The Earth Shatter comes down, and it's just the icing on the cake. And OWKings do get across the line. It's 6 minutes and 32 seconds.
So, small delay, couple of hold-ups. They capped out the initial payload marker very fast on the initial push, but then they got delayed a small margin. So there is certainly improvements that Too Strong could get, but we'll see whether they can even cap out that first point. They did it against the free agents earlier on. OWKings, though, are going to be a bit harder.
I like the way that OWKings played their attack on that first point. We did talk about it a little bit already, but not worrying too much about this Farah nonsense and stuff, because Farah is quite susceptible to Torbjorn turrets that are laid down out of her field of view. If you get distracted, it's likely you lose a lot of health to a level 2 turret in a matter of seconds. So I want to see if Too Strong go for the classic approach here. They bring the Winston by the looks of things here as well, maybe even the Roadhog on top. Farah. I don't know if we'll see Icefeld Tracer here. That would be interesting. You can do a fair bit. There's a lot of decent flanking paths around the left side for a Tracer to get up on and establish herself. But it remains to be seen if that's actually going to be the pick here for Icefeld, or if he wants to go Reaper again, or like he did last time.
Well, standard as you like. Defensive setup for OWKings. You can see Clown here. Going to be on the Torbjorn. Going to set himself up on the high ground, likely on the Mercy. Rib will be back onto the Farah once again. Olber on the Soldier 76. Twitty will be on the Winston, and of course Adatonian on the Hog. We'll see who wins the Hog battle up on high.
Yeah.
It was Manaton that hooked first, and as you mentioned at the time, never hooked first against the Hog.
Yeah, it doesn't really work out. I mean, if you get hooked, you can fire very quickly after the stun wears off, and then fire again. If you hook and then you do the melee combo, there's actually like a 1.5 second cooldown before you can actually fire again. Which is really hard. So you generally want to be the second to hook. But I mean, it's not empirical. It's not set in stone. I don't even know if it's going to be the deciding factor here. But interestingly enough, Saini is not playing the Farah at all. He's going to be playing the Reaper here. So, you know, for Adatonian, who's set up much the same way Manaton did last round, he's not going to have any flying things to hook in. I think Too Strong will be smart to take the fight on the high ground just the same way Overwatch Kings did.
Yep, trying to go the same route. See how it works. Of course, you can see Rib got the distance. They're expecting this one. They've set up much better. The concussive blast doesn't actually knock them off. That's what he was hoping for. Try and blow a couple away. It's a 1-for-1 so far. Mineral goes down, but there's Icefeld. Manaton getting the hook around the side, and that is exactly what they wanted. Have they cleared out enough, though? That's the question. You can see Olber. They still have the high ground on the right-hand side, and they're going to struggle to clear them out with the range they have.
And they've only taken down Rib, so they haven't actually removed any of the defensive architecture here for Overwatch Kings, namely that Torbjorn turret and Olber standing up here on that Soldier 76, who's in an incredibly commanding position. Icefeld, a long way away from the rest of his team, switched away from Tracer to McCree, very quickly. He seemed very decisive in that call. But now the high ground control for Too Strong, so they can do a lot. They can wreak havoc over on this point, but Rasta is not going to be saved by Zave. He was too far away. Zave's thinking about the res here, maybe waiting for one more teammate to go down if required, but no, I think Too Strong can take this point.
Yeah, I think they've got it now. There we go. Payload has been captured. We're at the 1 minute 10 seconds mark, and they're going to try and get their aggressive push, force them away from that spawn point, try and catch them as they come around the corner, try and force that payload as quickly as possible. Only 2 people on it at the moment. There will be 3 any second. So let's have a look at the changes. Olber switched over to the McCree, and that is about it. So Soldier 76 for a McCree. Doesn't look like anything else is going to change yet.
No.
Tell a lie. Tweety switched over to Reinhardt from Winston.
Yeah, that's fair enough. When you have a Roadhog and Winston, are both very, very good at dealing with airborne targets, right? So with them not there, that's fair enough. Adatonian has actually managed to catch Saini out.
Just used his
ulti.
looking
for a flank.
Yeah, he just used his ulti, I think, on there, his Death Blossom, because it's gone down to 43% from 100, so...
It was interrupted by a hook then. Well, nonetheless, Overwatch Kings now, in the similar way to Too Strong, are pushing forward up around this corner. They do want to put some pressure on. You can see how far up Too Strong are from the payload, so they need to get there first. Ruster's going to be a big help there. That's why you take a Reinhardt, by the way, guys, to gain ground without taking poke damage. And there comes a sound barrier down for Too Strong. They're looking for a fight. Overwatch Kings are fairly spread out. The res comes in quickly there from Likely, and already hooked straight on towards that Farah as well. But Manaton not able to finish yet. Going to go for the whole hog.
Yeah, they're going to catch out.
Oh,
one. Adatonian goes down. Olber will get picked off, and Manaton, yeah, gets caught in the hold there. Icefeld, though, got himself another triple in there. So the payload is currently moving unhindered. 2 minutes 30. It's about to hit its second marker. They're on for a very good time here.
Deadeye's, I mean, whole hog's a great time to use the Deadeye as well, because the enemy are in complete and utter disarray there. Yeah, we're going to see Too Strong push forward now. This is quite a nice time. It's only about 2 minutes 45 into the game, so that's pretty good for them at this stage. Olber has his Deadeye, Adatonian has a whole hog, so keep an eye on those. More just for zoning, both of those more just space creators and damage dealers in terms of ults. And Rusta has an Earth Shatter, so that will be the initiation to start the fight. And it does come down. It comes down pretty heavily as well. But in the back line as well, he's using that Deadeye, but actually gets no one for it there as well. He may have been forced to cancel or something similar. Mannerton is threatening him from the side, and Olba needed a lot of headshots to finish him off. He was smart to back away.
Yeah, I think it was more defensive. The Earth Shatter came in and they just had to back straight out. But look how close that payload is. We're at 320 and it's still moving on to the point. Tweedy is the only man there. Wow. Stop your watches. That was half the time that OWKings required. No messing there. 3:23, I think, was the final time. Absolutely blitzed it. So, first map goes to 2 Strong. Where will OWKings take us next? We have 2 King of the Hill maps in here. No Kings Row available, but
you had to go for it.
I had to just highlight that. But anyway,
it's not in the map pool.
It's ordinarily me that does the admin when we're in here, so nobody noticed that one. I'm just saying. But yeah, let's see where it goes. Let's see where this one goes. So, what do you think? I mean, that surprised me. OWKings took a while, but they just didn't put up any defense there.
I don't see why Hollywood can't be a pick here. They know it. I think they realise. Yeah, they jokingly said pick Kings Row. There's no reason why I can't really go Hollywood here. The thing is that all the payload maps right now that are in the rotation are hybrid payload maps, which is interesting. We don't have like your Gibraltar or your Dorados in there this week. I mean, they could play a King of the Hill map. I think Overwatch Kings are probably going to be fairly good at that in general, given their background of many of them. But still, we need to wait and decide. They are deliberating currently as well. They initially called Kings Row. Everyone wants to play Kings Row, but no more. It's not happening.
It's the map of choice. But two King of the Hills. Now, we saw 2 Strong struggling a little bit on the King of the Hill against free agents. Only went 3-2 and could easily have gone the other way. I wonder whether OWKings are going to go that way, because OWKings are very good on King of the Hill maps.
Or any sort of deathmatch format, I guess. Yeah, I mean, that's quite a possibility. I was a little bit surprised to see 2 Strong, the difficulties, I guess, that they had. Nepal's an interesting map like that as well sometimes. It doesn't lend to snowball situations so much as it can lend to teams randomly just sneaking out the point. I think like Lijiang as well has a similar aspect, especially Garden, should I say. So, waiting for the map pick still from these guys here. And obviously the winner of this one, this game, will be going to tomorrow to the quarterfinals.
It's a big deal. It's a big deal. OWKings have been there twice already and failed twice already. Yeah. So they're going to be kicking themselves for losing Numbani to begin with. I think we might be in for the long haul here. It is only a best of 3, but it is going to be Hollywood is the map choice. So they are going to be sticking to a map of choice. Now remember, if 2 Strong take this, that's it. GG. Well done. They are through to the quarterfinals tomorrow. OWKings got pressure on.
Yeah, I mean, the only non-hybrid payload map in the pool right now is Ro16, and teams are not loving that unless you're reunited, like I said before. It's just a bit, it's a bit funny. I think teams
I don't love it either, I've got to be honest.
Yeah, it has the same aspect, I guess, as Gibraltar has as well, where it's a lot of long angles and stuff like that. And teams seem to prefer situations like Hollywood, for example, where even on the Wild West scene, you might have some long angles, but there's a lot of easily accessible rooftops and balconies and stuff like that.
I find there's 2 ways that Route 66 can go. Either incredibly drawn out or just snowballed to hell.
Yes.
It's just, there doesn't seem to be a middle ground of like, oh, that was a great game. It's just like, good God, did we finally finish? Or, wow, okay, those guys suck. It's like that. That seems to just be the 2 ways, because you just catch this sort of wave and just pile on through, or you just can't finish the damn game. But, okay. We're on to Hollywood, so enough talk about Route 66. Let's have a look at this round. Of course, it's going to be OWKings on the defense this time. They've chose to start out on the defensive side. We'll have a peek over there. Of course, Hollywood, another one of those points, actually. Watched the Envy versus Cloud9 game the other day. Cloud9 unable to cap out this first point and get the payload moving. But then again, they were against Envy, who seem to be the #1 team in the world by a gigantic margin. Right now. But it is a tough old point to cap out at the start. There is a lot of defensive setups that are very successful here, and there's a lot of ground for a Mercy to hide in.
That's going to be important here as well. And while there's plenty of places for Mercy to hide, there's also plenty of places for an attacking team to sneak around the side. Yeah. We do see a lot of teams do put people down this little side alley here, past the dumpsters, and actually on towards the point. We saw 2 Strong play a pretty decent Hollywood, I think, in that earlier game against Redskins. They were pretty much all over it. Their attacking side was probably what was even more impressive than their defense, although that was solid in itself. So Overwatch Kings now need to hold up against 2 Strong, who are comfortable pushing this on towards this point. They've done it already tonight. I doubt we'll see Manhattan actually stay with that Hanzo at all, but you just never know sometimes. The Hanzo Zarya combo is not unheard of. Normally we see double, at least back in the old Zero Hero Limit times. So it's going to be the pick here. Manhattan is going to be playing Hanzo. Let's see what they can achieve here.
Well, we'll see if it works out. You can see he took a blast to the face there. Tries to get the scatter shot around the side there. Didn't work out for him. We've seen a lot of successful Hanzos. It's more this combo as well. The Zarya Hanzo combo is very successful on the push team, certainly in America. And here we go. They're going to try and push in for it. Adetonian, though, takes down Saini, and that's going to slow the tack down straight away. They need to try and get them one back at the moment, and they're not able to find the kills. You can see Manhattan, he's keep hunting for targets, hunting to find something. Rib gets himself a second kill. Adetonian on Mineral, and this attack is going to slow down. Yeah,
Manhattan has to back away. One thing that people don't always think about with Hanzo as well, he does so much damage to Reinhardt shields. Remember, per shot, he actually does. He's a very high damage hero. So plink away at a Reinhardt shield for a while and you can actually really leave a mark. You can see how frequently Twitty's having to refresh that shield or put it down or just hope that Hanzo's not going to break it. So Manhattan can peek and poke a fair bit now, especially with Zave there to heal him. But now the real fight starts, Manhattan has to open up now. We don't have a Zarya on the side of OWKings, mind you, so there's not going to be any combo potential. The Graviton strike is not going to be there.
Good flanking work there. You can see how much they had to affect Rib there. There's going to be the Dragon Strike. Is he going to pick anything up? I'm not too sure. Saini, though, will follow through. It's more of a distraction. There's the res being forced out. That could work well for them. And Saini tries to get himself a high ground. Rib manages to get the kill. That's Manhattan going down. And still, they are yet to get a great deal from this one. But likely... did use that ulti already. Zave gets picked off, so there's no resurrect available. And this barrage, I'm not sold on that one because a lot of his team had already gone down.
Sorry, I spoke way too early. I was actually looking at the wrong team. 2 Strong do have a Zarya there as well, and I said there wouldn't be a Graviton strike. There may well still be, of course. Icefelt one of the few actually with an ultimate ready to go. Now, notice that Dragon Strike and Barrage were both used without Icefelt to back them up here. I'm surprised that they weren't sort of saved until a time where they could maybe more easily guarantee a stronger fight on that point. But Reses came out for both teams. Zave, though, has his ready to go. Here comes a Graviton Surge. Now, no follow-up, no big ults really to go with it. And Rib's going to use his own Barrage to force 2 Strong away there. So, just think if they'd actually had those big ults to follow up with Zarya.
Yeah, I don't understand why he used it because 3 of his team had already been killed. It was a very strange barrage from Saini, who's been solid all night. But there's going to be the flashbang. Saini mid-air is going to get picked off by Olba. And it's another solid hold. 125 and counting. I talked about how hard it was to cap this point out. They seem to be struggling once again.
By and large, they really are. The res comes in as well for OWKings just in case there was going to be a random refight in for 2 Strong. Just not coordinating their ultimates much. I really think that's the main reason. They got so many wombo ults, and now Manhattan having switched towards the Reaper is not going to decrease the damage that his team has from ultimates now. Of course, the Death Blossom being devastating in its own right. So now they have to use it with Ruster's Earth Shatter. They really only have maybe one more after this if the fight goes quickly spawn in. Saini does not want to get hooked here. He needs to go for the fight, and that's pretty good. Manhattan's going to come over the top of the Earth Shatter, but will it be enough?
He got Likely down. That's a big part of it. Ruster's still got that Earth Shatter available. He can come pushing in here, and that's Hog is not going to be too happy about a Reaper plinking him down. This may well be the point capped out at last. They should be able to clear out. Now, where is Likely? Doesn't have res available, can't come charging in, can't save the day. And that will be the first point finally picked up by 2 Strong. It took them a long time, though, with 3:30 in already and counting.
Yeah, definitely risky stuff there from 2 Strong. Maybe left it a little bit late than they had to, I feel. But again, this is a higher caliber team than Redskins at the moment, it's safe to say. And Saini going to be coming in now with a barrage. A chance to use it will be on the horizon as Icefelt has just ticked into ult time. Ruster also has another Earth Shadow, by the way. We just had that in the last fight, so he's been managing to do a lot of damage and block a lot as well to already be ready to go.
Saini getting the dink. Not quite the insane headshots we were seeing in the previous match with the golden gun, as it were, but as it is, Olba has his ult available. Just waiting for a distraction, anything to come in there, but they're going to pile in towards the Goods Cafe. Not going to work out, not going to get a great deal from that one. They could just get out of the way of it, but he managed to catch Zave.
Yeah, that was really, really big there from Olba there. I mean, sometimes you just got to go for it, and Zave was not ready for that. He didn't have the time to get back behind the shield of his Reinhardt. Nicely played there, indeed. Speaking of Reinhardt, OWKings don't have one. They're using Twitty as the solo tank right now. This is an incredibly aggressive defensive setup. especially with Olba now on that McCree, Rib on the Farah, and Adatodian on the Reaper. They're looking to do damage and not have much else.
Yeah, you'd normally have just the big shield on the top here, wouldn't you, covering him off. Of course, he has got a shield of his own to pop down. Now, Rib's going to be vital. He's trying to get the flank around the back. He gets himself the barrage down, but they didn't get anyone, and Saini's picked him off. That's Rib and Olba going down. Now, Likely is still alive. Where's Likely's position? There's the big res. That's what they're waiting for, but Zave still alive. I want to check Zave's position. Maniton gets himself a double. Zave is way out the back, so he's got himself in complete safety, and this payload is going to pile on through.
Yeah, that Death Blossom completely wrecked all the players from Overwatch Kings that were resurrecting back in. I thought they could have been a little bit dicey from Too Strong. They missed the Graviton Surge. It went in a really weird position, and we saw how quickly Rib was able to get himself away from that and ready to keep fighting. But it all worked out in the end for Too Strong. They needed a res to make it happen from Overwatch Kings, but they got the damage down now as well. Natatonian looks to make up for lost time, gets on towards his opposite number, but Olba's also fallen towards Ruster in the meantime. But that payload's not moving. Overwatch Kings can rest easy knowing that Too Strong can't really fighting over it at this current moment.
Yeah, you can see on the top ground is where OWKings are trying to fight them away. Adatonian picks himself up a triple. Rib gets one as well. And good night. Too Strong. So 1 minute to go. The payload almost on its marker. Almost into that final section. But as it yet, we're at 6 minutes and counting. And they still get to finish it. That was so close to the marker. Amazed they didn't hit it.
Yeah, and that's what I found quite strange as well, is that if I'm seeing a Reinhardt kill a Reaper, that means Reinhardt's off, away from the payload, bashing someone's head in. And I have to wonder why that happened then, because you saw Adatonian come back in, there was no one on the payload. Too Strong probably could have pushed it across the line, I think, or at least forced Overwatch Kings, the last few of their defenders, away to start the fight. But Saini does have a barrage here, ready to use it as well as the Graviton Surge has come down. Olba's not being bothered by it here. The rest of his team gets cut down in an instant, but he was off chasing Mercies.
Well, Saini's ulti was for naught there, but they do manage to get themselves the kills. Now, Olba's still alive. He's the only man, actually, that is alive. He will get picked off, and there we hear the sound of the point finally being hit. We knew it was close, but now they only have 2 minutes on this final section. This is probably the hardest part of the entire map, just to close it out. And I got a feeling we're going to be looking at distance here, unless something crazy goes wrong.
Yeah, well, we're 7 minutes in, Lee, and at this stage, Too Strong still have this entire phase to actually deal with. So, for the moment, everyone's going to take 5 and set up here. I like this from Overwatch Kings. Going to be setting up on the high ground. They want to fight, actually. If you don't set up in this position to get a vantage point unless you eventually want to jump down, you're not just going to back away and walk down the stairs and meekly take up your position on the ground. You're going to jump there. It's going to be This Is Sparta kind of stuff. And Adatonian will be waiting around the corner to make sure that Overwatch Kings aren't interrupted and flanked.
Yeah, Adatonian took a lot of damage. Had to back away from that one. He's going to get the heal up, but it gets taken out by Saini. There's going to be the... Is it going to get anything from it? No, nothing at all. And more importantly, that's a lot of kills coming for Too Strong. They absolutely battered them there. Where is everybody? Rib, the only man alive. It catches the entire shield. He does get Zave down from it, though. That might be the saving grace as the rest of the team try and push the payload through.
Yeah, I mean, Too Strong are going to get some progress, but probably don't finish here. But Maniton has Death Blossom. He just needs to find the right context to use it. And now the Reinhardt dropped his shield for a couple crucial moments and allowed Maniton to get some damage across, but no kills. Saini as well just used his barrage. He got slightly better results, but still not great. He needs to kill Rip here very quickly, and he does. Great fight from Too Strong, pushing on towards this point now. It's just going to be Olba trying to delay. He can't. Likely he's too far away to get the res. You saw him push himself into the corner just to see if he was in range, but he wasn't. And at 8 minutes and 12 seconds odd, it is going to be Too Strong getting over the line.
Or thereabouts. I love that. But Too Strong do finish out the map. And that's the vital important part, because you think back right to the start when it was so close to not even getting the payload in motion. A very close time indeed. So, that's the time they have to beat. Let's see if OWKings can even get the payload moving. They have to. I mean, it's a totally doable time. But that is the marker, and that's the main thing for Too Strong. They just had to finish the map. Now they finished the map. They're 1-0 up. They can just hold on for as long as possible and just basically pour all the ultis on them. At any time they can, any moment they can go aggressive. And that's obviously the bonus of attacking first. If you do finish the map, you can just say, right, okay, we're going to be aggressive and just delay them.
You know exactly how much time you're trying to waste. I guess you can at least be empirical about your approach instead of sort of, I don't know, taking stabs in the dark as to how well you're doing. So Overwatch Kings now, they have a number, 8-15. Now that's actually a pretty decent time in terms of how well Overwatch Kings defended against Too Strong, and it was really because of that first point hole. So what Overwatch Kings probably want to do, they want to look back at that first point and go, okay, we see Too Strong failed here. This is our big chance to get up over them in terms of time.
I need them to confirm it at 8:15. Okay, and there's 8:17. The difference, the problem is...
Can't they see it if they tap?
No, so the problem is with the tab time, it's slightly longer because it counts for the animation of game over. Which is why it's always...
That's why it's 8:17. They must have read it. Yeah, because it was 8:17 when I stopped it, but it was 8:15, I think, when they got to the payload. Whatever, it's esports. We're getting it done one way or another. It's going to be Olva on the Genji, interestingly enough, to start with. Now, no Diva yet. They clearly think Olva and likely are going to be enough to take control of just those high platforms and high ground. But Too Strong are going to be set up, ready for this, and Olva goes running straight in. Who's he looking for? Of course it's going to be Zave, but the question is, can he get the damage down? He then attempts to go for Icefeld, doesn't pick him up. Zave's still flying safely above the rest of his team, even with a Winston napping at his heels. Yeah, he's going to stay safe as well. Saini's managing to keep him up on the high ground. Mineral picks himself up 2 kills. I think he's going to be finishing off there more than anything. Adatonian gets booped away, blown away from the Mercy. And, well, you can see that Zave is very much safe here. Likely he's going to get picked off. This is very slow delay. They still haven't dealt with Adatonian, who's been popping in and around the point there. The res does finally get used out by Zave, so that's may well cost them, actually. But there was no mercies, remember, for the attacking team OWKings. They went full aggression with the Lucio, full that speed. Now likely switches over, so Zave still has the ulti charge on him. It's quite possible, actually, that Too Strong didn't even need to res up on that point. I think Saini was actually able to take care of it himself. But they did it anyway, because Zave will likely have another res charged up for the next fight with the poke damage or the initial bursts and salvos that come through from Overwatch Kings. Speaking of which, Rib already peeking over the roof here, looking to try and take out his opposite number. Or maybe he's not really sure who he's looking for right now. He was challenged by Icefeld there on the top level. And there's tentative control for Overwatch Kings of that building for now.
Alba trying to find its targets. Remember, he was so close to getting Zave, and then Zave just slipped out of his fingers. Does have himself his Dragon Blade available. Here we go. He's going to try and find it. Instead, he tries to reflect and doesn't manage to catch Saini down. Rib does, though. Can't get himself a kill. At the moment, he just can't find anything. Oh, but that drastically went wrong. Clown uses Sound Barrier. Not too sure about that, but he's going to help him out. They are maybe well going to cap the point out. Manaton pops around the side. He's got the whole hog running, trying to blast them away from the point, but he's kind of all alone at the moment. Zave is going to be coming back. He hasn't got the charge available, Zave. He's looking to try and get that res off. He just wants to get a charge of some variety. 97%, he couldn't get the kill. He won't get the res, and that will be the point. Capped out, finally, by OWKings, and in only 2 minutes.
Very, very quick from Overwatch Kings there as well. It's almost as if, Zave was hoping for a res. He probably would have only been able to res a couple, so it was purely just like a time-saving res. I think that was the plan for him. No good, though. Olba's Genji hasn't worked out so far. I don't really think it's been him that was able to break that point open at all. He spent half of his ultimate trying to deflect a barrage that wasn't even being aimed at him, but he's going to stay with it. And this positioning for Overwatch Kings is good as well. It's forward, it's aggressive, it's in your face, and it's going to give them a lot of progress on that payload now. Barrage coming in from Rib, a little bit risky there, and he's going to get hooked right down to earth by Manaton.
Well, and you can see OWKings, they realize the goose is indeed cooked. They need to back away, back around the corner. The high ground has been lost to Too Strong. Now, Too Strong, they've still got 5 minutes to try and hold off on this point. It's a long time. It was a slow time for them. Remember, they were close to hitting the overtime marker, just capping out the first point and the second point. So they have a lot of defensive work here. They have to hold this high ground successfully, and Zave needs to stay strong.
Saini over the top now as well. We saw the Death Blossom come down, but Icefeld got interrupted during that one. Not much value got out of it at all, but Earthshatter comes down as well. Now Saini needs to really kick things up again because his team's been cut down on the ground. It's a res comes in. Zave manages to get that out at just the last moment. And this will leave Icefeld and Co free to do some damage. Adatonian trying to challenge out the other Reaper here, but he's got a little bit more than just him on his plate. Yeah,
he had his Death Blossom, but there was no point to use it there. Manaton, though, going back onto the high ground, has the whole hog available. So far, so good as we approach the 4-minute mark. Slowly but surely, and of course, there's still 3 minutes. They have to not only finish the map, they have to hit that second payload marker, and at the moment, it seems troublesome. And Ruster on the Winston. Again, just like we saw in the previous round, OWKings not using the Reinhardt here, going aggressive with the Winston.
Yeah, if we see Too Strong play well here, they don't even have to wait the whole 8 minutes, like you said, Lee. They just have to stop Too Strong from finishing. So that is a possibility for them here. But Anatonian gets in the back line, and with Twitty taking care of Russ, so that's bad news in general for Too Strong. Now being able to try and get back into this one will be tough. They're a long way away. They got stomped on down. Even Saini right at the back line realizes that this fight is too far gone for him to save.
That may well be the payload through. They're going to have one little spawn. Icefeld's already made the switch. He's got McCree. They know that this is not worked out for them. That was a pretty bad attack, honestly. That was the call from Too Strong to go aggressive. They tried to go for likely. You saw Ruster piling in there. Just didn't work out for them. You can see just sitting around the side is Adatonian. Seni is going to manage to get his ulti down, and he picks himself up a double. But that's actually worked out very well for them. Adatonian was the only one there, but that's a straight-up ace.
Yeah, it's fine. You kill the Mercy. Sometimes you've just got to barrage the Mercy. Just do it. No one's really going to hold it against you.
I mean, it works out for you. That's what you need to go for. So, they held. And that's actually very important. Saini had made the switch to a Widowmaker. Interesting. So he used the barrage, which got them the hold, and switches to a Widow to try and hold the high ground. Not so sure. Yeah. I think he was expecting maybe to push through.
When in doubt, ult the Mercy and switch to your old favorite. Didn't work out, saying, yeah, not ideal, and this is why Widow's not really played too much, because Pharahs wreck you if they get in your face. So now with him lost as well, that payload mark is going to be reached here in 5 minutes 30 on the clock, and things are looking pretty good for Overwatch Kings. There are no real problems for them. This last point needs to be held well, and Saini still playing the Widow here, interestingly enough. So I hope he's got a damn good spot to set up.
I mean, he said it right at the start. It's like, just because MKL's playing, he's forcing me to play Pharah. He's been playing brilliant on Pharah all night, but now he's made the switch. Hello, are we going to get a change? Okay, back to Pharah? No. Okay, he's going to go to Reaper instead. Icefeld had made that change, so Icefeld went to McCree. They decided to switch now to him. And Maniton, of course, also made the switch over to Soldier 76 and has that tactical visor ready to go.
So they're in full Pharah shutdown mode, basically. They don't want her to be alive to get barrages away. Maniton very sharp there as well, shaving a heck of a lot of health away from his opposite number now, but the fight will come back in. Tac fires are being used from Maniton. He's got a decent position, but no great targets to fire at. Anatonian actually just going to be forced to back away, realizing he bit off more than he can chew. And now the fight continues around the side. Icefeld well out of position. Yeah, well out of position. A lot of ultis used there. The rest coming out from Zave is less than ideal, and Anatonian smells blood in the water as he tries to get around the side. He's looking to find a moment to use his Death Blossom. He has to deal with his opposite number, and that is Saini, who gets himself the kill. Yeah, and he gets mowed down as well, though. The Earth Shadow very, very tough for him, and Twitty made the correct decision to charge Ruster and leave the rest of his team to kill Saini, who was already on the ground. 7 minutes now ticking. It should be pretty straightforward for Overwatch Kings if nothing nasty happens to them now. Maniton getting booped away. He wants to try and contest this for as long as he can, but he's gone to a point of not only being able to fire from the backline, he can't just sit and plink away. He had to get on the point, and it was not enough time. It's going to be the second map going over to Overwatch Kings. 7:13, easy stuff. They had a full minute spare. No need to worry about the seconds. And OWKings take it, like you say, to the third and final map. So, Rip says, don't pick Kings Row, buddy. Yeah, so, it is going to be Too Strong's map choice. Now, the only other payload map available is Route 66. So they either go there, or they're forced to go to a King of the Hill map. But I don't think they want to go there. OWKings are very good on King of the Hill. Now, the other option... Well, they didn't pick it, you know?
The other option is the 2CP map, and I'm not sure if they want to go to it. This week, it is Temple of Anubis, which is horrible to try and finish. Well, unless you snowball it, in which case you're laughing.
I don't know,
again, the other team.
My last ranked game, I played, Temple of Anubis, and it went
all I ever
to
seem to
the
get.
full time bank all the way. Both teams kept attacking successfully, and then Jason messed up.
I swear, yeah, actually, yes, I do remember that.
That was salty.
I remember, yeah. Can we pick Numbani again, says Mineral. Indeed. This is the option, so I think it's going to be Route 66. I don't think they want to go to a King of the Hill map against OWKings. I don't think they can do that.
Yeah. I don't think that's going to be the option here as well. I mean, even now, after losing that map in the way that they lost it as well, I don't know. It's funny. I actually thought that it would just be Overwatch Kings just edging it out slightly. But Numbani was very much a different story. I thought Too Strong looked a lot stronger than I actually gave them credit for initially.
Well, there's a couple of teams that used to use Numbani as their home map originally.
Yeah.
There's a lot of teams that avoid it as well. Yeah, Reunited used to, but it's going to be Nepal. Ooh, I'm not certain. I mean, we went to Nepal earlier on. It was a 3-2 against the free agents earlier on in the day. That was the round of 64 against a lot lower team, basically literally free agents, a bunch of players that are just throwing themselves
pub
together.
Stars, well, it looks, because they got plenty
stars.
of game time under their belts, but they couldn't put it together when it counted.
Yeah, absolutely. So we are ready. Let's give them the sign. So let's get into Nepal, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, you guys know this. It is going to be a best of 5 in Nepal. Of course, they've got to get the 5 rounds. You know what it's all about these days. You all play competitive. You all played your placements. If you haven't, what on earth are you doing watching this? Get your placement matches. Wait, that's not what I meant to say.
Yeah, fired. Fined, fired. All right.
The good news is I can put my stopwatch away.
Yeah, thank God. Now we actually will have a clear winner. No need for stopwatch rule here at all. But it's quite likely this could go to all 5 maps. These two teams, I don't really see any glaring differences in their general mechanics or fighting ability. It's going to come down to strategy, and I think that's where things were a little bit trickier for free agents, but where they managed to get advantages against Too Strong. I think this is Overwatch Kings' map. I think Too Strong already dropped the ball earlier on against free agents, showed us some of their weaknesses, some of the chinks in their armor, as it were. And I feel like Overwatch Kings are just going to be a bit more comfortable here, but we'll have to see.
Well, this map, obviously, we saw Saini playing the Genji earlier on. Olba, we saw his Genji. Not 100% convinced by it, his Genji, honestly. Icefelt was fantastic on Tracer earlier on today, but so was his opposite number, Snow, at the same time. Actually, honestly, was probably better than Icefelt Snow was. Adatonian does play a pretty decent Tracer, but it's actually going to be identical teams, isn't it? Yeah, identical across the board. So we'll see who comes out on top. Let's have a look. It's going to be straight in the high ground.
Yeah, no surprise their teams go here first, see if they can get an early advantage, then move it, translate it down to the point. Adatonian being harassed heavily by Manatyn, but good little footwork there as well. He's going to actually get him the kill easy enough, goes in for the melee. Unfortunately, the rest of his team is kind of not there, and he gets picked up.
Yeah, that's how it works out. So no mercies for either team. We are going to see Clown here waiting for the rest of his team to spawn in, so they need to try and move as one. But, as you mentioned, it will be Too Strong that managed to cap the first point. Manatyn, the only man that went down with his team, is going to rejoin them. But you can see the high ground is already under contest.
Yeah, and this likely Reaper coming in as well, just smashed Ruster in that moment. Winston doesn't do well against him now. Saini able to shut down the Reaper finally, but he's done a lot of damage already. 2 kills for him. Icefelt now continuing to harass. Twitty will fall there. This is constant harassment coming out from Icefelt, who we know is quite a prolific Tracer player, or plays a lot of the trickier roles here, but not Genji, from what I've seen from Too Strong. That's Saini's role. And there it is, easy enough there with the help of Ruster. There's going to be Too Strong, hold it down yet again. Their first fight, they just smashed Overwatch Kings. It was like a 1 for 5 in favour of Too Strong here, and they're going to continue it. They've proven me wrong, at least for now.
So far, so good for Too Strong. Adatonian, the only one. Tell a lie, Olba has his Dragon Blade available. That's the Dragon Blade coming out of his opposite number. Saini going straight in there, and look at the kill feed. It is all red, Olba. You might want to hold that Q key because your team has just gone down instantly.
Well, he has no choice, though. Too Strong had a sound barrier on them as well, so it's just a wasted ult. You put yourself in range of enemy team, like right up in their face, and then it takes 3 slashes to kill even like a 200 HP hero. So, yep, fair enough. Olba has to hold on to that one, but now things starting to get a little bit nerve-wracking for Overwatch Kings, because that's the 3rd fight they failed in a row. Too Strong have a couple ultimates to work with. Overwatch Kings have more, but not that much more now. But Mineral's going to spin straight on him with a Death Blossom, gets himself 1, gets a lot of damage up towards the side, and Overwatch Kings, again, smashed back. Huge fight. Another 1 for 5 for Too Strong.
That was very nicely timed, and you know, obviously I followed Mineral throughout it. I could see he was the only man with the ulti available, but now they have the Graviton Surge available, so if they do the same push, which they're not going to, you can see them grouping up around the side here, but either way they're going to come rushing in, and there's the Graviton Surge. Thank you very much. You're all going to go straight into this one. They don't get any kills out of it though, so they managed to back away.
No follow-up ults there as well, and you can see the more sprightly heroes like Adatonian on Tracer managed to sneak past that Graviton Surge, as did the Genji, so that doesn't work out at all. I think maybe Too Strong are hoping to use Mineral on the Reaper to back that up, but that sure as hell didn't happen. We even saw Ruster jump in with Primal Rage, but bro, you're not doing that much damage. Maybe he's trying to get his spray for Winston. You got to hit 6 people with your Primal Rage.
99% ready, waiting to go. Twitty has Graviton Surge, Adatonian has the Pulse Bomb, so they have a combo. But you can see Icefelt already zipping in and out, already causing problems. They were at 99%. They just need to try and hold off, and Tweety's just trying to find a moment to leave it. There it is. There's the Pulse Bomb to follow. And that's the combo they needed. That will stop this attack dead in its tracks. Or will it?
Good pulse bomb. That was big. 3 kills for Icefeld coming through, and he might just look to continue it. Clown going to fall. Massive performance, but Adatonian is still alive to receive him as he tries to press towards the point. Now, we did see Mineral run in there and try and take on this Tracer, but it's looking like a tough battle for him. Now we have a little bit of backup from Saini, but it's not as if they can capture this. It's going to be another big fight on the point because of the awkward end to that last fight.
Well, they've got Rusted with them as well. Saini, you can see using that ulti, will manage to chop himself down. 1 and 2. Can't. Yes, he can. Gets Likely just at the end of the ult. They cap it out. Now, if they cap this, they have to keep it contested. Adatonian's got his work cut out here. He's going to have to try and zip in the overtime. He gets in just in time, but he's picked straight off. And that will be the first map falling to Too Strong.
Yeah, and the rest of Overwatch Kings were caught in the Graviton Surge there as well. So it really was only Adatonian who actually managed to sneak through that, and he was just dispatched quite easily. So that's quite often what you'll see teams using Graviton Surge for, especially this map where there's not any pits. It's actually, you've got fairly defined points of approach to that main area. Just bang a Graviton Surge down there. Even if there's not necessarily any follow-up, you should win the fight with it by rights if you have enough people ready, and it can also buy you some time towards the end and prevent the enemy team from getting that overtime.
So switches here as we move on to, I never actually remember the name of this one. It's not Village, is it? No, because it's the high one. That was Village we just had. This is Shrine. That's it. The other one's Sanctum. Yeah. So Likely making the change because it is the high ground, going for that Soldier 76. See if it works out for them. This is the only adaptation we can see. Of course, there is Genji being stuck to by Saini. So that's the change. We'll see if it's enough. Olba, of course, going over to the Tracer this time.
Yep. Saini as well, just going to harass from sort of longer range and only go in when he knows he can get the kill. A little bit risky for him there, but he knew he had the E up his sleeve to use now. Just keep him going in, keep harassing. If he can distract attention, that's fine. Genji needs to know where those health packs are and use them effectively, but Saini, you have to wait for this one to spawn back in for a moment. So he's out of the fight. However, the rest of Too Strong have done their job, no doubt about it. Icefeld is just dominating on this Tracer. Yeah,
he's been brilliant. And it goes to show you, when Snow was kind of dominating him earlier as well, it shows how good a Tracer Snow was.
Yeah.
So Icefeld, at the moment, has the better of them, and Olba, well, you can see his pulse bomb is about ready to go, so he's certainly got a better amount of charge in there, but here we go. The speed around the side there. Caught him out of position, actually. Got a flank around the side. The speed caught them off guard, using that Lucio power to get in there. Manaton going to shield that off. The pulse bomb will not get the kill. Right. So kind of a wasted ulti there. Zave has him sound barrier available if they need it, but look at the kill feed. It's all going red.
That's a bit of an error for Olba. I think he was just going for whoever he could get. When you're pulse bombing his Tracer, sometimes it's like, just someone, stick it on someone. Unfortunately, Zaya, the literally worst person he could have stuck it to, just powers Manaton up, and the rest of Too Strong just unloaded. And they didn't use ultis in that fight. Except maybe Icefeld, I think. So we've got a lot of big ultimates ready to go. Graviton Surge already coming down now as well. We're actually hearing a Tac Visor being used by Likely. I don't know if he's in position to get the most out of that one here as well, because Saini went in with the Dragon Blade on the whole of Overwatch Kings who were caught in the Graviton Surge. It's easy kills. It's like slicing bread. It doesn't move. It doesn't run away from you. It just sits there and takes it.
Just a big fat loaf taking it. So, well, 64%. I mean, Likely's ult will charge pretty quick, but to use it there was fairly wasteful. We can see the sound barrier going down as well in the distance. Let's switch across to Icefeld because he's continuing to pick up kill after kill. He's now on the Lucio. He's going to get himself a second there. Saini's going to help him out. Now he's going to focus on Olba, who gets picked off. And Adatonian, the only man alive with Rib. And Rib's Primal Rage is going to run out, and he's going to get picked away. It's 88%. One last attack is all they're going to get.
And Primal Rage does nothing for you now. When the enemy team hold the point, you can't actually stop them from gaining points, even if you're a big monkey on the point. It's not like Payload. You can't contest it in that way. And Mineral gets a great angle for this ult, but it was sound barriered out, so Overwatch Kings do have the sustained health going into this fight now. Most of it's decayed away, but Adatonian's already gotten himself two. So is Olba, gets himself one. Icefeld has got no choice but to back away now, along with his mate, the Genji. Saini, super lower, will fall here. So that sound barrier doing a heck of a lot of good work for Overwatch Kings, because we saw how hard Too Strong tried to stop them.
Icefeld will be able to get away, the only man that gets out alive. Now, with that take, we do see, of course, the Graviton Surge for Twitty. So this could be an elongated game suddenly, as now advantage goes to OWKings, but Saini might try and say something different. Here we go. There's the Graviton Surge getting pushed in. Likely does have his ulti. Adatonian's going to come in. I think Likely's going to hold on to that. Yes, he will, because the damage has been done. Adatonian getting the kills. Icefeld this time is not going to get away, I don't think. Will get finally taken down. There we go. The right click to the face from Likely.
Yeah, I mean, Tac Visor for Likely, hang on to it because it's going to do much more good for him if he's trying to kill Icefelt or Saini, for example. When everyone's caught together, you don't really need an ult. You just sort of tap away at everyone in the middle there. But we do have actually a Graviton Surge for 2Strong here as well. Taking the very point back is going to give him the 2-0. He's going to go in. Only 2 people caught in it, though. Will that be enough?
Well, Icefelt gets himself the double from that with the pulse bomb. Now, Saini still has that Dragon Blade available if he needs to use it. They're going to start contesting it, and it looks like they may well cap it out here. The Primal Rage going to get used up. They have to deal with Olber. He's going to be the only nuisance here because that Primal Rage will extinguish itself in a moment. Rib has been taken down. There we go. The Tracer is just going to keep them harassed. Likely's going to come back in. He has that ulti available, and this is what Saini was holding the Dragon Blade for.
Yeah, OWKings to the sound barrier, but that's decayed very, very quickly. Saini charging headfirst in towards Adatonian, and he's eventually going to fall, and Adatonian now just has to walk onto the point and try and keep it ticking. There's a lot of shields there as well. 2Strong very well protected by Maniton, the man himself, getting that last kill on towards Olber. Now, OWKings don't have the chance to regroup. They just have to run at the point. This is obviously not a sustainable situation for them, and they are going to fall the second round to 2Strong.
Well, all this talk of OWKings, the king of the hell prowess, seems to be failing them here.
I don't know if I hyped them up falsely here. I'm not really sure. Or maybe I'm just not giving credit to 2Strong.
So they've come against Anox a number of times, and Anox are very good in the old days. But we should point out that that was in the days of no hero limit.
Yeah.
That's when they dominated.
Double Lucio.
So maybe they're struggling right now with that. And Olber's made the switch. You can see the McCree coming out here, potentially. We're going into Sanctum, so it's an indoor. Surprised to see a Junkrat as well. It can be useful here. We'll see how it works out. This is a gamble from OWKings.
Yeah, definitely. We'll see. I don't really love it on this point. I think he's only good if you can actually force the enemy so far back that they have to bottleneck themselves trying to get back onto this main area. If you don't win the first fight, then I don't really love it. But we'll see what Antonian can do now. Fortunately, 2Strong have bunched up quite nicely for him here, but he's going to go down very, very quickly. They'd seen he picked him out and removed him. He knew he had potential to do high damage, and he wasn't going to allow him to stay alive.
Yeah, Adatonian down. That's going to be a big deal. Olber's going to get picked off from the side. Icefelt's continuing to get unharassed kills from the side here. Nobody looking out towards him. You can see, well, actually, Clown is still alive. Clown's the only man. So he's going to find himself a couple of shots on towards the Mercy. He's got to get the Mercy down. He wouldn't stick him. There we go. Didn't work out. Managed to only get ripped from that, which is somewhat surprising. But at the moment, he is kind of the only one alive for his team. And Adatonian respawns, gets himself in, and gets the kill.
Big res. Likely was very, very good to actually avoid getting killed there by Icefelt. He was outside on the balcony on his own with Icefelt bearing down towards him. So good use of Guardian Angel to get himself out of trouble in a pinch. It still has a cooldown in this build of the game, so you do need to be a little bit careful with it, even if it is very low. And like Adatonian, he sets that up actually so he can back away if he needs to. Not to kill someone. He just knocks himself back onto the wall and gives himself some space. But he's just going to use a Riptire. And this is where Junkrat is generally a bit stronger because you can force the enemy away and prevent them from getting in safely.
Well, slows them down enough. Now they've got Rib's Graviton Surge if they want to try and partner it with something. It's going to come around the side. There it is. Catches them nicely on the flank, but there's no follow-up at the moment. Rib's the only man that's going to get the kill there, and that's less than ideal because the rest of his team have dropped.
Now, I don't know about that one for Rib. Wasn't exactly a high-value ultimate. Adatonian actually manages to catch Ruster there in a trap, but not able to finish him off. He might just have to accept that this point is going to be taken, and now Junkrat caught out in the open with no options and limited mobility is definitely going to fall.
Maniton in position. 80% charge as well, so he's going to be doing a heck of a lot of damage here. And the Graviton Surge backed up as well. Icefelt's going to have that pulse bomb available. He's just been picked off by Olber.
Yep. And now we're going to see the Graviton Surge come down as well. Notice that the Reinhardt did not have his shield up at the time, but still, no follow-up whatsoever. Maniton didn't have the teammates to help him, especially after Icefelt had dropped. He had the pulse bomb. He had the key to that combo.
Yeah, I was surprised. I don't know how he got picked off. Must have been a great old left click to the head there. You can see Mineral, though, trying to get the flank in. He does have Death Blossom available, but no reason to use it right now. The rest of his team's been wiped off. So a much more even game as that quick flashbang from Olber catches Mineral unawares.
That's why you don't right-click. Go for the double headshot. It's far more reliable if you can hit that. Right-click is not going to guarantee you a kill, especially up against a Reaper who has 50 extra health than most of his offense counterparts. Double headshot. Just do it.
You tell him. You tell him. The McCree main coming out on you there. Yeah, you do see a lot of people still doing it, but Icefelt, little Is he going to try and sneak in? He may be able to sneak into. Adatonian is the only man that was on point. He might sneak into side. You can see Adatonian's grenades coming through there. Starts to contest it. Tries to get around the side. Sticks the pulse bomb. Doesn't get the kill, but Zave will. Tweety goes down along with Clown as well. Icefeld's got to make sure he doesn't fall off the edge there, but he's got plenty of rewinds available to try and keep himself alive. Let's spin across to Olba, who's got his Deadeye available. He's going to get the flashbang. There's the left click to the back of the head, and they keep the point.
That's what you do. Nice work by Olba there as well, really showing that McCree can still shine on this map in these situations. He did well to keep himself safe at the back of the fight there. I almost thought I heard a Riptide get fired up in that fight, but it mustn't have happened there. There was a lot going on, and here it is. This is just the Graviton Surge now to keep them busy. Riptide will come into this one. This is going to decimate Too Strong.
Well, flashbang. There's the double left click. Must have listened to you. That's it. But look at that. The point almost sneaky cap there by Icefeld. Will finally get forced away. He's the only man that's trying to keep it contested because we are in overtime here. Now he has to get back around the side. Has to drop in. I don't think he's going to get close enough. He's not. And that will be OWKings that finally pick themselves up a map.
Indeed, 2-1 here. And I have to say that the Junkrat pick, while it wasn't a headliner, I think both times we saw Riptide being used, it maybe wasn't overly impactful. But still, you generate a lot of threat with him and you get a lot of residual damage. I think Icefeld had a couple of unfortunate situations, but this Sanctum is the kind of stage where Tracer will be forced to stand and deliver. You can't just zip around a pillar or get around behind someone like you can on this map, Village, because everything's enclosed. So this is a much better stage for Icefeld to show us what he's got. I think that he can be very, very effective, but he got shut down pretty hard on that last map.
I think the biggest issue was when they used that Graviton Surge and Icefeld had just been picked up, so there was no follow-up for it. A little switch of entrances here. And OWKings, they've lost out in the opening exchanges a couple of times. Let's see if they can't hold it here, as Icefeld's ready and waiting. Yeah,
the rest of his team is going to go in. You can just see him positioned here to take his time. He will either go into the back line or find someone who's trying to kill one of his own squishies. So for the moment, just more than happy spreading some damage from the side here. And you can see Ruster fearlessly going in. I love it when a Winston will do that. You can see Ruster took a lot of damage and ultimately died, but he set up 2 kills for his team. It was definitely a worthwhile trade.
Not a straight up 5-for-1 this time, which it has been a couple of times, but you can see it is very much going in their favor. Still nobody able to cap out the point. Adatonian still causing them problems, so still very even. Mineral just having to use that Wraith Form to get out. Finally the point will go across to Too Strong, but it's not a done deal like it has been the last couple of times. That right click, oh, so close to taking Mineral out.
Yeah, but Zave just walks straight into him there as well, so he gets full damage for his grenades. He will eventually fall down. It's Ruster straight back onto the point. Albert, wow. This range isn't the best for McCree. This is much better now as he goes in with a flash on Sani. See, the problem is sometimes if you do want to go for the headshot, you actually have to correct your aim, and you can run out of time of when your opponent's stunned. It's quite risky to do against a Genji especially. So Alba suffered that same fate there, and it still manages to get the kill in the end. So, Too Strong still hold this point. Overwatch haven't been able to flip it yet because they haven't had a full team actually on the field. It's been drips and drabs so far. They need to regroup and push.
Adatonian's nades, that is the danger of Icefeld playing on the Tracer. That Graviton Surge will come through. Is there any going to be follow-up? I can see Mineral a long way off at the moment, so he didn't have his ulti available, and that has backfired horribly. Yeah, that did absolutely nothing. Rip's still sitting on his Graviton Surge, just doesn't even need it. Here comes the Death Blossom, though. That will catch himself a couple of kills. Mineral on the cleanup duty, and by God, was it needed.
Adatonian did well to find a space to actually use his Riptide there around the corner whilst Mineral was wrecking his team. He got himself a couple of kills, but unfortunately there was no follow-up, of course, to the Riptide. And he had no teammates left. So Too Strong hold this one now as well. You notice that OWKings did flip it briefly in that ensuing fight. They'll regroup again. They're going to have a Deadeye, and most importantly, I think it's the most important ult on this map, the Graviton Surge is there for Rip.
Icefeld picked off there. Didn't even go for him. I'm pretty certain he was aiming at Manaton, but he still minutes himself the kill. More importantly on the Tracer, Rip just used that Graviton Surge to great effect. You can see Adatonian picking up the kills for that one. Olba's still sitting on his Deadeye, and they are going to flip the point back over their side. 69% was all Too Strong managed to get. Remember, if Too Strong were to win out this map, it would be GG, and they will move through to the quarterfinals. But as it stands, it may well go to the 5th and final map here.
This is a great position to be for Olba right now. Oh, the reflect comes out, of course, from Sani. He was on the far right, and that's the one that McCree hits first when he uses Deadeye. I don't think Olba was ready for that one now, and Sani going to go forward, but he does get flashed up briefly, just going to quickly reflect and try and get away, but his team's gone. Icefeld there now can do some work, but doesn't have a pulse bomb, and is being kept at arm's length away from Overwatch so getting up close and personal where his damage is best is going to be hard to do.
The res working very well there. Icefeld trying to bide his time to get around that corner, gets a little rewind to get his hit points back, manages to pick off Olba from range there. In comes the rest of his team. Zave gets clowned down, and they flip that point back on its head. I was about to say Likely's Resurrect is winning them the game at the moment, but this is going back Too Strong's way.
Twitty out of position there. That was really quite strange. Icefelt made the correct decision not to add the extra speed to the cap process for Too Strong, but to go after him there. I don't know why Twitty was actually standing out there as Reinhardt. Trace is going to eat you up, and now Overwatch Kings have to wait. That's an extra 6% they've pretty much lost there waiting for him to get to the fight. And Icefelt now sees this fight coming. He sees the enemy team. He has that pulse bomb.
But he's looking across, and it's Adatoni that's trying to get the ninja cap around the back. Is he going to be able to get it? No. Icefelt will come all the way back, cut him down. Icefelt, the absolute hero, landed the pulse bomb, zipped all the way back to the point, and helped out the Lucio. And they've held the point. They've cleared the point. If they manage to catch this one out, nobody's going to get it. Too Strong will take it, and they will move through to the quarterfinals 3-1. And GG overall 2-1 on maps, and OWKings are going to be kicking themselves. It was all down to the big long time on Numbani. Took them so long to close out the map, 6:32 overall, and they just failed miserably in their defense.
And you can see here a moment from Saini, who, it's good, we're seeing this depth from him now as well. I don't even think it's a valid argument talking about his past when it goes to TF2, because he's quite clearly shown that he can play a multitude of different heroes quite effectively there. So there you have it. It's going to be 2-1 in favour of Too Strong eventually there as well. They impressed me a lot. I thought it would be a narrow win for Overwatch Kings, but the first village stage on Nepal, I was blown away. It was very, very impressive.
Yeah, absolute fantastic stuff. And don't forget they came into this one as the 81st seed because they were so slow in signing up. So many problems. So, hard luck story for OWKings. I have no doubt in my mind that they will qualify next week, but that's going to be cup number 4, and they have to go all back to the start all over again on the round of 1028. It's a 128, not 1028. They haven't got 1,000 teams in there. Thank God we'll be here all night. But that is it, Mitch. We are done for the night. So tomorrow, guys, if you want to tune in, it's going to be starting out at 6 p.m. Central European Summer Time. We're going to be doing back-to-back-to-back quarterfinals. All 4 will be played out in one strict fashion.
We can look at them as well.
Yeah,
so maybe so they know exactly what we're going to be looking at tomorrow. So this game is just finished, of course. Overwatch Kings get through. We need to see the result of this one. That'll be the first quarterfinal.
See you at LAN. That's like
that's so British.
That's so English.
That's an Aussie thing as well.
Yeah.
It's like, see you at LAN,
see you at LAN, mate.
Love
yeah,
it.
wreck you.
Giants Gaming versus Bikini Beach Esports.
Bikini are back again.
Yep.
So they were in the quarterfinals last week.
We got Pretz, no surprise that they made it through over Gamers Origin against Team Era, who I don't know that well, French squad.
Deathmatch Gang made it through.
That'll be an interesting game as well. Ex-Aquo, who is probably, in my opinion, the top Italian team right now.
Yeah, and Deathmatch Gang took a map off Rogue last week. So that in itself...
Was that...
no, they didn't tell lie. They didn't take a map off them, but they did manage to finish off the payload, which in itself is pretty huge against Rogue, because Rogue are a fantastic team. So Deathmatch Gang, former Team Fortress team as well, so seemingly doing very well. But that is it, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be back tomorrow, 6 p.m. Central European Summer Time. Set your watch, follow the channel. We'll see you there. Have a good night.